welcome to the M.A.N Show.
All right, welcome everybody to episode 6 of the M.A.N Show. Should have a bit shorter of an episode for you guys this week and follow up to our longest episode to date last week. I'm joined today with Critter. What's up, Critter?
What's going on?
How's everything going, man? How was your week?
Good, man. Busy week. We had a good stream week. I think it was Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then you had a VR party last night, so that was cool. Other than that, man, started some new class in school. 3 classes away from finally finishing my degree.
Nice.
My son's little league team got their butts handed to them, so that was awesome. Other than that, man, just a regular day to day, trying to get in games where I can.
Right on. I hear that, man. Yeah, pretty much the same with me. You know, you kind of hit it. We did a lot of streaming this week. Had an absolute blast with that. Did the VR party thing last night. That was a lot of fun. A little bit chaotic, but played mostly Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. That was definitely a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that the interaction and stuff, and then having you guys in Twitch chat trying to help us solve the bomb, even when you could see it, because my buddy Kim was like, "Hey, you know what? We've got 3 modules mastered. Let's just crank this on up to 10," and couldn't even solve it cheating.
I know, man. It was hard because with the 11-second Twitch delay, so you can't say no, wait, don't fast enough. You know, I'd hear your wife read it. I'm like, no, stop reading. I made a mistake. But no, it was a lot of fun to watch, man. I hated we couldn't be there. I mean, as you know, and others may not, you know, me and Devin were friends with all those same people, so we were super jelly. But it was fun to hang out, you know, best we could over Twitch.
Yeah.
Jackson thought the shout out from everybody. He was like super happy. He was grinning from ear to ear, waving at the TV, like, you know. It was great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we played a bunch of Fortnite. We did a little bit of rank 2s Friday night. That was fun. Made a little progress, I think, on getting back where we started with that. But yeah, other than that, I mean, that was pretty much my week. The whole VR party thing. I spent most of Saturday kind of cleaning and cooking and stuff, which you know, I was posting pictures into chat and kind of sharing that with everybody. I know cooking's not really my favorite thing to do. You know, smoking stuff on the smoker, it's pretty relaxing or whatever. That's not so bad. But hell, I kind of screwed up the brisket a little bit, but that's all right. I need to get me a temp probe, you know, that's got one you can put in the smoker and one you can put in the meat. The fatal mistake I made is we had basically 2.5 pound briskets, and I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, that's 5 pounds. So I anticipated, you know, like at least 5 to 6 hours on the smoker or something like that. From most of the research I had done, you know, at the temperature I was cooking at, it would take, you know, about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes per pound. But you know, those 2.5 pound briskets cooked like they were 2.5 pound briskets.
Yeah, man. That's kind of like when you're making grits. You know, each packet takes 1 cup of water, but if you do 2 packets, it takes. So the math doesn't always correlate.
Yeah, but you know, I was just kind of get some like anxiety cooking. You know, just I don't know. I guess it's because I'm not particularly skilled at it or whatever. And I'm always worried, like, oh, you know, I'm gonna screw up the food, and you know, all these people are gonna be like, well, shit, you know,
Yeah.
can somebody
Yeah,
order
man.
a pizza?
Yeah, that's why that's actually the reason I invested in one of the grills that has a charcoal section, propane section, for those times where, like, if your charcoal doesn't burn right or you cook it too high, you know, off the charcoal, so the steaks aren't quite done for some of the people who like to cook all the flavor out of it. So I'd always so if I have a bunch of people and I'm cooking a bunch of steaks, I'll cut the propane side on and get it warmed up. In case I don't quite finish on the charcoal side, I'll top it off on the propane.
Yeah, yeah. My gas grill's broken. I've actually created a little bit of a like charcoal tray in it, so I've been cooking a bit more with charcoal recently, which I think I started out when my wife and I first got married cooking on charcoal quite a bit, and I think actually I generally prefer the taste of charcoal food, but it's just like the setup time and everything, with wives and
Yeah.
kids and everything going on, like the whole propane gas thing just tends to be, a little easier to make happen on a tight schedule, if you will. I guess more consistent and less prep is what I'm trying to say.
Plus, wasting $20 coal on 2 chicken breasts is that's not always the funnest thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. But nevertheless, I mean, brisket was still edible. It just got a little bit overdone. Because ultimately what I did is I put the temp probe in the smoker. I was like, oh, the first like 3 hours, I'll make sure I'm keeping that temp nice and flat, and I did. And then 3.5 hours in, I'm like, all right, so we're gonna get to the final 2 hour stretch here. So let me go ahead and put the temp probe in the meat. And I was supposed to get the meat internally to about 150. I stuck the temp probe in there and was like waiting on it to cool down, and once it hit about 170, it didn't cool down no more. So I overshot my mark there by quite a bit, but it was still edible. It just wasn't as it was a little tougher than it needed to be. But nevertheless, that was fun. The bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers turned out great, but you know
Mm,
I pretty much smoke those every time I put anything on the smoker. Man, they're so delicious. But
yeah, man.
anyway, so we had a blast. Friends had a good time. Got to introduce a couple of friends to the Michigan beer, so that was fun. They enjoyed it as well. It's definitely a good IPA. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. But other than that, man, that was pretty much it this week, I believe.
We got some good news for one of our other staff members in M.A.N this week. Old Eric passed the test, so that's awesome.
Yeah, man, congratulations, Eric. Good work, buddy. I had never had any doubt. So congratulations, man. I know you've been studying like crazy with every free moment you got and kind of going through that stuff. So congrats, bud. Well deserved. Now I guess that's on to figuring out school for him as well. So best
Yeah,
of luck with
school.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming up this week on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we have D&D night with Okapi. So be sure to check that out. I just kind of wanted to touch on that as well. I know it's been a difficult challenge, if you will, for them to fill the spots, especially with rotating work schedules and so on and so forth. But head on over to the Dungeons and Dragons channel in Discord. Be sure to check the pins, which is a little push pin at the top of Discord, and get signed up for Thursday. They still have some spots available for 7 p.m. Eastern. Should be a lot of fun. I know the ones they've done, everybody had a blast with it. So be sure to check that one out. And we'll also share some other news on other upcoming events. But first, we're going to have a community spotlight interview with Jabanko to talk about another upcoming event, which should be pretty exciting. I know I'm excited about it. So hold tight while we bring Jabanko into the conversation. All right, for tonight's community spotlight, we have a special guest, Jabanko. How you doing, Jabanko?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks.
Awesome. Welcome to the show.
Yay, show.
So, how was your week been, man? What'd you get into this week?
It's been a pretty good week. In terms of M.A.N events, I was at the House of Diamonds on Monday. Wait, Monday? Tuesday? One of those days.
How was that?
And then it's great. It's one of the events that I really look forward to. It's competitive in the way that ranked is competitive, but you don't have to worry about I'm just barely holding on to my diamond 1 and I haven't gotten my rewards yet, because it's not actually ranked. One of the fun things we did after the House of Diamonds was we used the Discord screen sharing thing on a call to watch replays together and just kind of comment on what went well, or oh yeah, I remember that block, that was a good block, or whatever. So that was fun.
Awesome.
Training camp Tuesday night was good.
And you
little,
went from the training camp into the mixer as well?
Yep.
And
that was pretty fun. They had set up a few sort of trying to think of a better phrase, and I got nothing. They had a couple of grind rooms where you could get lots of flowers by taking over the casual servers,
Oh yeah, awesome.
and that seemed to work well. I think, we were talking to Grumpy. We were a little bit torn because they're console players and they can't quite get in on that action the same way, but it seemed like a productive evening. I got a bunch of flowers out of the deal.
Nice. So how was that opportunity to go from training camp into the scrimmages of the mixers? Granted, I think this with the flower grinding, this week's mixers were a little bit different, but did it present an opportunity to kind of put into practice any of the things you learned in the training camp, or how did that flow?
Yeah, one of the big focuses in the training camp was rotation. And I think in the more casual, let's just play for flowers, take over the room, the rotation was there, but it's a more casual kind of thing. So it presented a good opportunity to work on that, or to at least have it in mind. And it's carried over into the rest of the games I've played this week.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's jump into the meat of what I wanted to discuss with you. Coming up in about 2 weeks' time, we're going to be doing like a man album club, if you will, that Jabanko's
Yeah.
going to be hosting. That will be streaming on probably Wednesday nights, starting in about 2 weeks, which we'll get some more info about that. But can you tell us a little bit about album club?
Yeah, it's I always liked talking about music. I'm not like a huge music head. I couldn't name every song by every band or whatever, but it's just fun to discuss, like, hey, what do you like? Oh, that's cool. I've never heard of them. I'm going to go listen to that, and come back and talk about what you liked or didn't like or what it reminded you of. And I used to do something like that in person with a bunch of friends. We'd have our quote unquote homework, and somebody would pick an album for the week, and we'd all listen to it separately and then get together, press play, and sit around, have a beer or two, and talk about the album. It's a good way to get exposed to a lot of music that I wouldn't normally listen to otherwise.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely one of the reasons I'm looking forward to it as well. Much like you, I'm not per se like a music head. You know what I mean? I like a very wide spectrum of different music. I kind of am into the story side of the song. You know what I mean? Like I try to pick up on the what the artist is trying to say or portray, what have you in the music's lyrics. Um, but It's something I'm
And
I'm
I'm
looking forward to, right? Because I'm not a big music head. I'm not super involved in music all the time, so I don't necessarily, I guess, keep up with music that I probably would like so well because of that.
Yeah, and for me, I'm definitely hey, this reminds me of this other thing, or it sounds like this was influenced by, whatever. I always love being able to. I'm definitely not a music historian. I couldn't tell you what bands like actually influenced other bands, but it's kind of fun to see how like somebody might borrow something from the 50s and you're like, oh, I know exactly what they must have been listening to because it was just like this band or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's one of the cool things about doing the album club is you can get people together that have those different angles, and people will say things and you're like, oh my God, I never even thought of that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how this plays out. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think, the format is we're still ironing out all the kinks, but I think the main thrust of album club is just getting a few people together on stream with an album playing in the background and talking about whatever. And then maybe before or after talking about like, hey, what are you listening to? And that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Well, I'm very much looking forward to that. I think 4/11, so 2 weeks time on Wednesday, 4/11.
Get the real 411.
Yep, there you go. On 411, be sure to check out the Man Album Club. We'll be streaming on Twitch, Jabanko and I, and possibly another host as well. But I appreciate you taking the time to come in and chit chat with us about that, and I'm super looking forward to to doing that, and hopefully picking up on some new music I haven't heard before that I can rock out on my way to work. Thanks for taking the time to stop in and talk to us, Jabanko.
Yeah, glad to be here.
All right, thanks again, Jabanko, for stopping by to have a chat with us, and definitely looking forward to the album club stream. So be sure to check that out in 2 weeks' time. We'll get some more information out about that. But in other news, upcoming events, House of Diamonds, Monday, March 26th, is actually going to have multiple time slots to accommodate more regions as well. So this is the first week they're going to try this and see how it goes. So be sure to give Classic Style your feedback. But ultimately, 5 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern, and 9 p.m. Eastern. So there's basically going to be 3 House of Diamonds in the same night.
That's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of EU players. I usually don't. I'm not able to play with them a lot because of ping issues that I have from time to time. Even though it's a smoother ping than the lag spikes that are found on some of the name servers, Sonic. But there's a lot of good players there, so I think that'll pay off for them to get together and critique each other and play competitively without having to actually worry about competitive play.
Absolutely. And just to clarify, the 5 p.m. slot will be played on EU servers, and the 7 and 9 will be on US servers. So that will be awesome. So be sure to check out the House of Diamonds this week with 3 time slots available for you. Training camp will be Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Pretty much it's standard Tuesday deal. So 3:27 and 8 p.m. Be sure to hit up Fighter Vet if you're wanting to participate in the training camp. Generally, the mixer would be shortly after that at 9 p.m. Eastern, but the mixer is actually going to be off this week, so there will be no man mixer this week. Just with the holidays and everything coming up, Grumpy won't be around to participate, so that'll be coming back probably after Easter shenanigans are over. But on that note, a bit of an oversight on my part as we kind of planned out the events of the month and spaced everything out. This weekend is a holiday weekend for Easter. And we do have the dungeon crawl set to be Friday night at 9 p.m., which we do still need some bosses. So if you're going to be around and available for this event, hit me up and let's get some boss battles going and have a good time with that. And then Saturday we have scheduled for the MCCS at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then we are also going to be doing a Steam card giveaway for $50 after the MCCS, so somewhere probably around 9:30, 10 p.m. Eastern, something like that. We'll be doing that. So M.A.N card holders, be sure to check out the website giveaway section and get yourself signed up to win a $50 Steam card. And you do not need to be there at the stream in order to win, but you do need to sign up and register on the website. And I know a lot of you guys have plans for Easter, so hopefully you guys get to enjoy some quality time with your family and friends and so on and so forth. And we'll just kind of have our events be tentative. As long as we get enough teams to play some games, we will continue having the events. And if not, we may postpone them a week or two. If you guys can't really make it, again, apologize for that oversight. But when we were planning at the beginning of the month, we didn't really think about the fact that the 31st was going to be Easter, so that's my bad. But we will still attempt to run the events as long as there's enough people to play. So that's kind of what's going on with that. And then, of course, the album club will be 4/11 at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Twitch at twitch.tv/middleagednoobs. And I think that about does it for the upcoming events for this week. So I hope to see you guys out and about in any one of these events. And like I said, if you're out of town enjoying time with family, hope you have a great time, and we will see you when you return. Thanks everybody for stopping in and listening to M.A.N Show episode 6. Have a great night. Wake up, critter.
Peace.
Middle-aged Noobs thanks you for listening to The M.A.N Show. Be sure to follow, like, and subscribe for the latest M.A.N news and event announcements.